Introducing Tony and Other People, a podcast. Here's your host, Tony Levesque.
What's up, Frank?
Not much, Tony. How you doing?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Seems like it's been a while.
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah, a couple days. That was a fun party.
It was a good party.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those parties are, you get there, and you're like, is this going to be good? There wasn't a ton of people there, and then about a half hour before we're done, that's how that seems to always work.
Right.
And the craziness happens.
Yeah, the people from elsewhere started showing up.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was a good time.
Stillwater's its own little world up there.
It is. It's like that Grindstone gig.
Yeah.
Same way. It's like stepping back in time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was for sure.
I think I had a few too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. I kind of lost track of time.
Yeah.
It's like next thing you know, gig's done and you're hanging out, and then it's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I know you guys had to get back because you had a babysitter and kept hanging out after the gig was done, which is the fun time.
Right.
Once everything's picked up.
Yep.
And then I was really surprised you guys were still there.
Yep.
I disappeared somewhere and come back and you're gone.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
No.
Yeah, it was good. We got home just in time. We told the babysitter 10 o'clock. We thought maybe we'd be a little bit late, but we made it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a long trip down that
It is.
Stillwater Road.
It is. Erin gets nervous too.
Yeah.
She took on the driving duties, and she doesn't like that dirt road driving. But.
No. Well, it's different when you go down there with a truck, because you can ride right over those bumps, no problem.
Yep.
But then you get kind of crazy around the corners.
Right.
And those corners sneak up on you.
Well, and that road gets beat up bad in the summer. I mean, that's the only way in, only way out of Stillwater, and that place is busy, so
yeah,
it's pretty washboardy.
It's weird, though. You get up there, and there's all those cars in the parking lot for the hotel or the restaurant, and I spent probably 45 minutes getting up there, and I don't think I passed one vehicle.
No.
But
nope.
They're probably already up there.
Yeah. Yep. I think Labor Day weekend tends to be busy anyways. Everybody's last hurrah before they get back to the real world.
Got some decent weather for this time of year, too, which is rare.
Yeah, it is. Well, tomorrow's going to be almost 90 again.
Oh, I know.
Not really my favorite, but...
No. First day back at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll be busy.
So I'm not sure exactly what you do there.
I am the transportation supervisor.
At Beaver River.
At Beaver River, yep. So anything to do with getting the students to and from school, that's what we do.
So you get the blame for everything, too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fun.
They're pretty good. They treat us all pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get a lot of complaints from the parents?
Not really. When you think about the amount of people you're dealing with every day, I mean, Beaver River's looking at mid 800s, probably 8 to 850, let's say, student count. Probably 650 or 700 of those ride the bus at any given time, morning or afternoon. It's a pretty large undertaking, so the few issues we do have, I think, everything runs pretty smoothly.
It's pretty amazing that many people every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You take them from home to school and back safely.
Yep.
And that's a pretty great thing. You guys are underrated.
Yeah, it's it's statewide. The New York State's always been known for its safety record and that, and really honestly, they always say that your child riding a school bus to and from school is a lot safer than you transporting them.
Right.
And the statistics don't lie. We really don't have any issues statewide at all. Mm-hmm. So.
Which is weird for the winters that we get here.
Yeah, yep. Well, most people are born and raised here, most of the employees, and, a good snowstorm is just another day in the...
Yeah, you still got to get to work,
right.
Still got to get to school.
Right.
And they don't seem to close as much as they did when we were kids.
No, and I don't know, I think maybe the winters are not as... Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we've had some pretty hard winters the last few years, so... I always hear stories from my grandparents and whatever about, the feet of snow. And I don't know, we've probably just been fortunate enough not to have storms like that within the last 10 or 15 years. But we've had some difficult winters, but I think technology's helped out with that that aspect too. It's the cold weather. It used to be anything much below zero, and buses didn't want to run and that kind of thing. And now, I mean, they just start. We still have our issues, but they're built to work a lot better. So,
yeah. Well, I'm sure even just the tire technology is.
Oh yeah, it's
better.
It's crazy. I mean, we've gone from in the 10 years I've been there, you were guaranteed every bus is going to have at least one set of complete tires, to now, depending on the route that it's on, we may get almost through the life of the bus with one set of tires.
Really?
I think you see it on your own personal automobile too. The compounds are that much better, and they just last.
Plus, they probably do a way better job cleaning the roads than what they did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I think they do. We don't have the amount of dirt roads anymore that we used to have, and all that kind of driving is definitely a little more detrimental to a vehicle. So, we used to have some issues with snowmobile studs, studs from the tracks. We'd pick them up and in the tires and that kind of thing, and we're not seeing any of that anymore. So I think the towns do a lot better job of keeping things cleaned up, and it works better for everybody.
Yeah. So you like it?
Yeah, I do. It's like every other job. You have your days. It gets a little crazy sometimes. Just coming off the summer, that's always a nice time of year. It's a nice change of pace. I get to get back in the shop a little bit and do some mechanic work. That's really my true passion. And now, being supervisor, you're kind of more in that managerial role. You're more dealing with your staff and students and parents, and you got your meetings, and you're worried about capital projects and budgets and all that stuff. So, the summer is kind of a nice change of pace. I can get out and get dirty and get greasy and bust my knuckles up a little bit.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's why you got into the whole thing to begin with.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I started there as a mechanic and just, kind of worked my way up. So.
Yeah. See, I never understood that. My dad, growing up, my dad was a mechanic, and my brother is now. He really enjoyed the time in the garage with my dad, but I hated sorting bolts and wrapping my knuckles and getting all grease. I mean, I can do it. I can, do minor work on my car, but I do not enjoy it.
It's funny. It's my brother and myself are the same way. He's a carpenter, and he does amazing work. When it comes to, I'm the same way. I can go in my house, and if we got a little project, I can do it, make it look decent. But if I really need some help or a serious job, he's the one I call, and it's vice versa. He calls me with a car question, and I just I gotta tell him step away from the vehicle, and I'll be over to take a look at it. So I guess it's just we're all cut out to do something.
Yeah. I don't have many skills that my brother calls me about. He used to be, hey, can you help me play this gig?
Yeah.
So you got 2 young boys at home.
I do, yeah. Yeah, it's wild times in the Monnat house.
Your house got to be chaos.
Yeah, 4 and 2.
Ooh.
And the 2-year-old is a Spitfire.
Yeah.
I was talking with Erin before I left. We give him a bath quick so I could give her a hand getting him cleaned up. And he's got this look, it's... I wouldn't want to call it the devil, but it's like, the devil in disguise, and you just know he's up to something. And I was saying, in the younger years of your life, it's hard to appreciate that vigor, because it doesn't always set well in, say, the school atmosphere or something like that. But I can see once you're out of school and in the real world, it's that drive, that you want to see somebody have. So
yeah,
he's an interesting little person.
Yeah.
He got a lot of will.
It's amazing how different those two are.
It
too.
is.
I don't get to see the kids that often.
Yep.
I see Hank beating up on Jackson, and he's the younger one.
Jackson
is be that way.
he's more of the sensitive type. He's pretty compassionate towards other people. You can kind of see that in kids. And he had that early on, and he's definitely a little more laid back. He definitely has his moments.
Yeah.
He gets his stubborn side, but yeah, Hendrix is he's just a beast.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to describe him.
They both seem really into music too.
Yeah, they are. You know, I think as involved as Aaron always has been, and you know, I think there's something to be said about even a child in the womb, you know, taking some of that stuff
Right.
in, and yeah, they've been beating on drums and trying to break strings on guitars since they were born. So.
I know when we go to do practice at your house, Jackson's always got get out his guitar,
Yeah,
which is extremely out of tune.
it is bad. It makes the song sound a little bit rough in practice,
But it's totally worth it because he's going to carry that memory with him. And,
yeah,
and that it'll be instilled in him, that music and being part of something.
right.
And I think that's important with teaching a kid music, not only the skill of music and the mathematics of it and the nuts and bolts on how it works, but also that you're part of something.
Right.
You know, it's rare for somebody to play music and never play with other people.
Right.
It's a very, you know, it's a group activity,
Yep.
really. Even when you're out there playing music by yourself, you're interacting with the crowd.
Right.
So
Yep.
you're never alone in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great.
And I
for
think
that.
it, you know, it really opens up your mind to a lot of other things in life, you know, just understanding the mechanics of music. It's not just listening, but to actually understand how to make music. And, you know, it really, I think it is helpful as far as a child maturing and, you know, really, like I said, opening up their mind to other things.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And not only making something or reproducing something, but making it your own, because it's so, I don't know the word, but you can put your own style
Right.
to it, you know.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can do cover songs and really turn it into your own thing.
Yep. And, you know, they're lucky to have Erin.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause she's super talented. You know, it blows my mind to watch some of the songs, you know, the lyrics she writes.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely a poet, you know, and she just
Right.
has a way to make a song, you know. It's cool. It impresses me every time. And she hasn't done a whole lot of it lately. You know, it's busy with the kids and life and everything else. But yeah, they're pretty lucky to have her as a influence, you know. It's cool to watch.
I never get how she doesn't have any confidence. And
I know.
Because we'll be at gigs and I don't know, I kind of butchered that song. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Have you listened to anything that I did during that song?
She's super hard on herself, and I guess it's not always a bad trait to have because she's
Right.
always thinking she has to improve. But it would be nice to see her,
Yeah.
you know, feel a little better about what she's doing sometimes. And
She's super humble.
Yeah.
It seems like in every
Oh,
aspect
yeah.
of her life.
yep, she is for sure. Yeah, I got lucky with that one. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I was
I don't know how
just
that
talking
worked
with
out.
Mike the other day about, it's like, man, I lucked out too. What did we do to deserve that, you know? How
Yeah.
long have you guys been together?
Actually, it was believe it or not, Erin invited me to her 16th birthday party. I had no clue that she had any interest in me at all. I definitely did her, but I was at that point in my life, I was the typical country boy where I had my 4-wheeler and my snow sled, and I wasn't too worried about girls. I definitely noticed her out there, but I wasn't like in the frame of mind to follow up with anything. And so she invited me to her party, and she also invited a couple good friends of mine, and I thought that was just kind of, well, she wants them there, so she's having me
Group
come along
date,
as
yeah.
And so I went and hung out at the party, and we kind of danced a little bit at the end, and that just that set it off. And that was, I don't know, 17 years ago or whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had our 10-year wedding anniversary
Mm-hmm.
last month, so
That's insane.
yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, I don't know how I got that lucky. It's been, I think, as perfect of a situation as you could
Yeah.
ever. I mean, the whole stretch. Of course, you're always going to have your
Ups and
little
downs,
tiffs and
yeah.
up and downs, but it's been a good ride for sure.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing when that story happens. It seems like it doesn't so much
Right.
of the time nowadays. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's funny when you're going through it at a young age too. You come up to high school graduation and you always hear everybody says, because a lot of times it doesn't work out. So it's just, well, we'll see how you guys are doing once you go off to college and this and that. And we both went to college. She went to St. Lawrence, I went to Canton, so we were still kind of close together.
Mm-hmm.
But I got done after 2 years, and she was there for her bachelor's, so I had come back home, had my job, so we were apart there quite a bit. And it never affected us. And then when she graduated from St. Lawrence, decided she was going to go to Plattsburgh to get her master's degree, I thought, I really don't have anything I have to stay here for. I can work anywhere. So I said, I'll go along. And that was, that's really when we really kind of solidified the whole thing. Because then you're out on your own, you're just the two of you and relying on each other. And it was tough going for a while.
Yeah.
And she was in college. She went up there without having a job. Mm-hmm. I took the first job I could get. And, you start renting an apartment. And it was a lot of ramen noodles and playing board games, no television, none of that stuff. So
I think most adults need to go through that. And if they haven't, maybe they should for a little while.
I think so. I think nowadays you see so much people coming out of school and thinking they got to start at the top. The whole idea of starting at the bottom and working your way up. It seems to be lost a little bit. You know. And it only made us stronger. You know what I mean?
And it's weird, too, because when you have kids, you don't want them to really have to go through. You want to be able to provide for them. Mm-hmm. You don't want to see them fail or have to be, eating ramen noodles.
Right.
But at the same time, you kind of do.
Right.
You want them to
just
experience
makes them strong.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's funny now looking back on it. I talked with my parents and we talk about things, that happened or whatever. And it's like, why didn't you ever tell us you needed a little money? It's like, I didn't want to. It was... Right. I made up my mind we were on our own and we were going to do it with just us, And now it feels great. Yeah. You went through that.
I get pride because you survived it on your own. And yeah. It's also nice to have parents that'll do that for you too.
Right.
Yep. I know I always tell Heather I'm lucky the situation I had. My parents are still together after a million years, and we grew up really poor.
Yep.
I remember having powdered milk in my cereal, which was awful, and getting the WIC checks to go down and get the government cheese, which probably doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know how any of that works, but they really struggled, and my dad worked full time, my mom worked, and they both did stuff on the side just to make ends meet. And now that we're in it, I see that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But as a kid, you kind of don't realize that. If you grew up poor when you're a kid, you don't really, unless your parents make you aware of that, or other people, it's just life.
Yep.
That's just what happens.
Yeah, we were kind of the same way. My parents had divorced, but we still, had a relationship with both of them. And they, my mom did a really good job at... we didn't have a lot of money, but we didn't know it as kids,
Right.
We still had everything we needed, and it was, just life went on.
Yep. I know when we were kids, if we we loved to go to Lake George once a year and go to the theme park down there, and if we wanted to do that, we picked night crawlers all summer long. We'd go out every time it rained and pick fish worms and sell them by the side of the road, and every bit of that and every bottle and can that we could find all went towards that family fund. To go for a weekend or a week down at Lake George. And, now I see that too. When we want to go take a week, you have to pinch some pennies to make it happen.
Right.
But when everyone pitches in, you're teaching kids what family are.
Right. And
what family is.
That's what family is supposed to do. Yeah. It's a joint effort for sure.
Yeah. So were you nervous coming over today?
I wouldn't say nervous. I've never done anything like this before. I was thinking, what are we going to talk about? But
we shoot the shit for hours.
Yeah, we could
all the time.
Yeah, I kind of figured this. It starts to roll. And,
yeah.
Yep.
I know I get some people in here that get really nervous, and then 5 minutes later they forget that we're doing it, and now I keep bringing it up.
No, I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
So what do you like to do for fun? You don't play the tuba anymore.
I don't play the tuba anymore. Though I should check that out again. They're probably really expensive to buy.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have to go to some school sale.
Right.
Pick up an old one.
An old one that's all
years of
dented up.
spit in
Yeah.
it.
Valves all stuck. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I besides the family time, I probably 3 years ago, my dad and my grandfather have always been pretty big into trap shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And so 3 years ago, I said, you know what, I'll go out and shoot a little bit with them, and I ended up joining the league. And I just finished my third year now shooting for the NTTL, and it's really become I just love doing it. It's a passion, it's a great sport. It's, you shoot with a group of people anywhere from the age of 85 to 12 years old, It's just a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward. Jackson goes with me any week we can where we're not traveling too far, and he loves it. He looks forward to Thursday nights, and it's done now. We've just shot our last shoot last Thursday, so now I got a little break until my other passion, deer hunting. Yeah, I really look forward to that too.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm a fan of when I hunt to go sit in the woods by myself. I love the solitude of it, just getting out there, being as quiet as possible, hopefully seeing something.
Right.
But at the same time, I like getting out there with a group of guys you can hang out with, and sounds weird, but there's no women, so you can,
right.
talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do the things you can't normally do. Yeah.
And burp and fart.
Right.
Not have to worry. Just be a man.
Right.
That's one of the best things about hunting with a group of guys. You can just be a dude and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think also I really enjoy, there's something about morning watch when I walk in there in the dark real early.
Yep.
Get in my stand, whether it be my tree stand or ground blind, and just sit there in the dark. And there's something about not having almost your sense of sight for a while, and your other senses take over. Like they go into overdrive. It's really cool. And as the rest of the world starts to wake up, and you hear a little bird here, a little bird there, something runs through the leaves. You're not quite for sure what it was, and then you'll start to get the sun to come up, and maybe the mist or the dew. It's just
there's something about the smell of the fall leaves that just makes you want to sit in the woods and
it's a great time.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
I've been for years hunting, and most of that time not seeing a damn thing, but it never stops me because I enjoy sitting in the woods.
Right.
It's just nice. It's a nice reset.
Yep.
You're so busy and everyone's got their phone in their hand dealing with people and issues and problems all day.
Yep.
To just forget about that and go sit in the woods and not have any other plans other than staying out as long as your body will let you.
Right. And like you said, the camaraderie, I spend a lot of time with my dad and my brother during hunting season also, and we've been lucky enough, put in the time, and we hunt in an area where there has been some decent deer, and some decent bucks. And my father killed two great bucks in the same year, one with a muzzleloader, one with a rifle, and to see him like a 12-year-old kid again, when that all happened, it is really fun. And the same thing with my brother. We're like kids on a Pop Warner football team. When either one of us kills a deer, it's all hand slaps and hugs and
Oh, the look on Jesse's face last year.
Oh yeah, that was that was a lot of fun too. That was good to see him finally get into some shooting.
Yeah. And we did it kind of different too. It was very late in the season and cold enough, so we let the deer hang for a while, which is an old school thing that a lot of the old timers used to do all the time. Plus, it seems like it was colder back then. I don't know. But then to go and cut the meat up yourself, which I've never done before. I've packaged it up and gut deer and whatnot. But to actually get into the whole cutting the meat up yourself, with the whole group of guys that went out there and shot it, that was a really nice. Well, some of it was nice.
Yeah, we get them that late in the year, and we were lucky enough that it got cold.
Yeah,
and it is kind of an old time thing. I've watched my father and my grandfathers on both sides of my family. do that. And they said if you can let it hang, it's cold, and all you're doing is what everybody in the big city's doing when they're going to age their beef and charge you $100 a pound for it.
Imagine how much that deer meat would have cost, in a restaurant or something where they could sell it. That's some of the best meat I've had too.
Yep. And it's, that's what I love about the outdoor sports, whether it be, if you're going to hunt, fish, go up into the big woods and spend 3 or 4 days, I think it's skills that we're starting to lose a little bit.
Right.
And this country's going to be in trouble if the grocery store disappears someday.
Yeah.
And I like to feel fairly confident that I could provide for my family if need be.
Right.
And, it makes you feel good. When you get done cutting those deer up that night, you feel good. You've got a bunch of meat that you can put in your freezer, and you can survive for a while.
The only thing you paid for was your hunting license and a couple shells.
Maybe a little beer.
A few beer, yeah. That kind of goes along.
Poker game here or there.
Yeah. We got to do that again sometime too.
We do.
Soon. Oh, I was awful last time. Man. I guess I'm just awful at poker.
I'm not the best at poker, right? I never have been.
Yeah.
I like to play.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mike cleaned house that night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he normally does.
Yeah, he's got the poker face.
Yeah. Plus he's a little smarter than the rest of us, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but
he is a pretty intellectual fellow.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Hope he doesn't listen to this.
I know, right?
Oh, he barely has internet anyway.
Right, yeah.
One of those guys that doesn't do Facebook or social media, but still kind of knows what's going on.
Yep.
I bet he does. He's probably got one of those secret pages.
Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah.
He's probably still a MySpace guy or something.
Yeah. He's got AOL Instant Messenger. So you went to Beaver River. You grew up across the river.
I did.
I guess.
Yep.
I'm trying to think here. No, I'm still on this side of the river.
Yeah, you're still on your side.
So what did you guys think of South Louis when you were, in school?
Honestly, I back when we were in school, it was more the Beaver River Lowville rivalry. I was a wrestler. I was not a good wrestler. I enjoyed wrestling, but I was in that time frame when it was huge, and we would have a match. 2 matches a year, usually one at Lowville, one at Beaver River, and it was just amazing the amount of people they'd pack in there to watch it. And we also competed against South Louis, but it wasn't you didn't have that the same level,
Right.
And even at that, I always had friends, maybe from middle school up, from Lowville, South Louis, kind of just acquaintances either through family or whatever.
Yeah.
So
did you go to BOCES?
I did not.
No. You wish you would have?
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
I went. It's funny. It's a funny story. I went into our guidance counselor, like, what is it, your 10th grade year, when you go in and they decide what do you want to do with your junior and senior year. And I had pretty much decided that I wanted to go into auto mechanics of some type. And I figured,
what you're doing now.
Yeah, I'd go into like the gas and diesel program or something. And the guidance counselor told me that my grades were too good. I had my math and science scores were too high, and I really needed to pursue maybe like an engineering type field or something. So I guess reluctantly took their advice, and I stayed back at school. And it wasn't horrible by any means, and I always did all right in school. I was from an 85 to a 90 student, but my senior year come around, and I had looked into the mechanical engineering stuff, and I just knew it wasn't me. I wanted to be out in the garage with everybody else.
You want to be hands-on. Yeah,
honestly, my dream at that time was to work at NASCAR. I was a huge NASCAR fan, and so when I decided to go to SUNY Canton, I went around and looked at a bunch of schools that offered, automotive programs or whatever. Went to SUNY Canton. It was an awesome 2 years. I loved every part of that, my 2 years there. The professors were great. They all had crazy amounts of experience from all different aspects of the automotive world. And when I come up to time when I was going to be graduating from there, I'd actually had a professor who went to the NASCAR Technical Institute, and he spent some time down south working on some NASCAR teams. And he knew that I was always have been kind of interested in that. And we had a nice talk, and he said, he said, you definitely could go down there and do just fine, but it's a tough world to break into.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
Almost like you gotta be grandfathered in.
Yeah, the last name, and you gotta, if you're gonna go down there, a boy from the north, you'll go to the school, you'll do just fine, and you can come out, but they're gonna have you, you know, probably sweeping floors and vacuuming out just freshly built roll cages, you know, for the first 5, 6, 7 years of your career. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound like much fun.
No.
So he, like he said, you know, you got enough talent, you can go somewheres and really, you know, perfect your skill. And that's when I worked at Dennis Lee's in Lowville my first year while Erin was finishing up her college.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went up north, I got a job at the Chevy dealership. And it didn't take long, you know, I was working hard. We were working flat rate, so basically you're not getting paid by the hour as you're there. You're getting paid by the job. Each job pays a certain amount, so you really got to hustle.
Right.
And you know, as you work, you gain experience and you start to get better at things. And I was fortunate enough to have a guy that'd been there 30-some years, a Chevy technician, kind of took me under his wing. Thankfully, he was a great guy, and started teaching me some stuff. And then the dealership started sending me to school in New York City and learning all the latest and greatest technology. And it was just a blast. I mean, it was going down and learning about the brand new Corvettes and all the new stuff, and it was cool.
And it was what you wanted to do.
Yeah, it was what I wanted to do.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
I always thought BOCES would have been fun. I seemed like guidance counselors back then just really wanted to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
Unless you didn't have a choice.
Right.
And you're like, well, you're going to fail. We'll send you to BOCES.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and I think, you know, they're starting to talk about it on the, you know, the larger picture now. That a lot of the hot fields to be in today are the trade fields, you know, and you don't have to have a 4-year college degree to do that. You can go to a trade school or a 2-year school, or even if you just go out in the workforce and gain the experience, and hopefully have somebody like I did take you under their wing. And
especially if you want to live around here, if you like this area or anywhere that's really rural, you know, there's so many people with a 4-year degree or more that are having a hard time finding a job or having to commute or move to a big city when they don't want to live in a big city. I mean, that's for some people, for sure. But it's okay to set the bar a little bit lower in order to, you can still do exactly what you want to do. Only stay around your family. And
I think, you know, I think it's important. You just got to let a kid find their way. You know, if you're pushing them to go to college and they're not made for college, it's not going to work.
Right.
You know?
And it's going to make it worse, and then they're going to owe all that money and not have anything to show for it, or the wrong degree and not end up doing what they want to do. Which, if you're going to put that kind of work in, you better be doing what you want when you're done.
I mean, you come out of a 4-year school now, and then if you want to add a master's on top of that, you're looking at, what, $75,000-$100,000?
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming, before you even get your job, you've got a mortgage already.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's tough on these kids. It really is.
And it's tough, too. I mean, my wife goes to school now down in Utica. She's working on her bachelor's. And to balance a job and kid and house, mortgage,
it's insane.
On top of going to school, let alone the time it takes for the homework and all the term papers, and just to do it at a slower pace as well, because you can't really go. You can go full time, but you're not going to have a life at all.
It really impresses me. People I see, there's a lot of that nowadays, you know, because people can't afford to just do it all at once, you know, so they got to have the job, and maybe they've already started their family in it. It's impressive. I mean, in Heather's case, it's a lot to take on. The family life alone takes up so much of your time, and then trying to work some, and college is demanding. If you want to be successful, anybody can go to school. And,
well, you're always thinking about the next step, so you don't want to just pass. You want to do well, so that you can, you know, possibly get some grants, or at least get into the next class you got to take. But yeah, I know she has a drive, and she really wants the career she wants, so it'll work. You know, but those couple of years are they're tough.
That's, I mean, Erin was the same way. She was a 4-year program at St. Lawrence, but she finished in a little under 3 years. You know, to me, that's pretty impressive. And she's the same way. You know, Erin, she's got the drive, you know.
Yeah, she's got something in her mind.
When she makes her mind up, you might better forget about it until it's done with. So, which is, it's an excellent trait to have.
Yeah.
I don't think I can say that I have the same staying power as what she does for some things.
I think being men, we just have a little less drive. Or we just really like strong women, and
yeah,
we'll let them do the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll fix stuff around the house.
Yeah. My honey-do list is getting bigger all the time, so I probably ought to work on the fixing stuff around the house a little more.
Yeah. I'm lucky I can get the yard mowed.
Yeah, I know. I just did that yesterday. It was starting to look like the Munster family.
Yeah. I mowed last week, and it'd been at least 2 weeks just because it's tough. I don't get out of work till 6, and now later in the summer, that doesn't leave you much time of daylight.
Right.
And then with the rain schedule, not working with my time off to mow the lawn schedule.
Right.
Yeah, it was a rough mow last time. But luckily, my neighbor has the little rake that goes behind the four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And so they use it for mulch.
Yeah.
And I just got the cheap Walmart mower. That's all we could afford at the time. And so, I hear the four-wheeler out in my yard. Oh, he's just scooping up my grass for me.
It works out.
Yep.
It's a good neighbor.
Well, that's what makes the world go round. You just got to be a good neighbor.
Yep.
Yeah. You seem like you're all set there in town, too, like the neighbors.
Yeah, we...
decent.
Like I said, we just actually got some new neighbors just moved in down the street. That house is always up for rent, and they seem like really decent people. I haven't had a chance to talk to them too much yet, but their little boy's been outside playing with Jackson, and they seem to get along great. Yeah. So it's nice, it's nice to have the neighbors where you're not bothering each other, but if you do need each other, it
is a weird relationship. You got to kind of keep some space,
right?
Enough to where when you see, oh hey, what do you got going on?
Yep. And then our daycare is now just 2 houses down, which is a pretty sweet setup.
That's handy.
In the morning you walk down the street 2 houses and you're there.
Yeah, even in the snow.
And then at night or whatever, backyards are all kind of together. Of course, everything's so narrow there in town. We have little strips of property, and you can see everybody's waving and the kids running back and forth. So. As much as I don't like living in town,
there are perks.
There are definitely perks to it. If you want to go for a walk at night, you got nice sidewalks and everything's lit up. And
yep. I was just in town last night. Doug Ho's house. He's got a place on Park Ave now.
Yep.
And which is, the backyard doesn't seem like town so much.
Right. Yep.
But I do notice I don't really miss living in town hardly at all. But there are a few things that it's handy. Like, I'm just going to walk to the store because I can.
Right.
I could use the exercise. I just got to go grab this or that.
Yep.
But at the same time, then you're always running to the store because you need this or that.
Yeah, it's almost too easy sometimes. Yeah.
It's like going to Walmart with 3 things on your list.
Right.
And,
and you never just get 3 things.
No,
you're going to spend money on something you don't need.
Right.
Yep.
I know living outside of town, and we're only 3 miles from the center of town, we've saved a lot of money just by not going to the store all the time for every little thing. Our trips to Walmart are fewer.
We've done the same thing now that Erin's not driving by it every day coming home from work.
Right.
She worked at South Louis every day. It was like, come by. Oh, yeah, I run into Walmart.
I need just 1 or 2 things.
Now
but I need this or that, too.
Now we got to plan the special trips to come to Lowville.
Yep.
But now we have Dollar General in Croghan, so
I know.
That's taking a little bit of the heat off.
They're enabling.
Coming to Lowville. So.
Yeah.
I say Watertown just like a kid. When I'm a kid, you had to go to Watertown.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Lions Falls, so it was Watertown or Utica?
Yeah.
Which mall do we want to go to?
I can remember the monthly trip to Watertown. Like everything got wrote on the list. What are we going to need when we go to Watertown next time?
I used to love our trips to Utica because we do the same thing. I think they had I think Utica had the first Walmart around.
Yep.
And so we'd go down there and, Mom would get all her groceries because it was the super center.
Right.
And we would go to Ponderosa.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was 4 of us kids, or 3 at one time. And so the buffet was the best deal. And, oh, my God, I miss Ponderosa so much.
Yeah,
and it always had the worst health department ratings. There was always awful things on there.
Well,
I didn't care one bit.
They did get a little sketchy there a few times. As I got older, you start to look at like some of the things going on, or who was sneezing in the mac and cheese ahead of you. But,
as a kid, you don't give a shit about that.
No, you don't. We were huge Ponderosa fans too.
Yeah. Chinese buffet, that's what we do now.
Yeah.
Especially with a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really worry so much about making a mess in there. It's kind of like Denny's.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's some crumbs on the floor.
Right. We're still testing the waters on the eating out.
It's tough, isn't it?
We had it down with Jackson, you know, he gotten pretty good, and then
now you got a new one in there.
Hendricks come along, and like I said earlier, he's a little firecracker, so you never know. We went to Jeb's a couple weeks ago for our anniversary. We just went out as a family for dinner, and everything was going great, and they were kind of eating dinner, and then all of a sudden he's just got like this, my sister-in-law calls it like the pterodactyl scream, just out of the middle of nowheres. And I mean, it will shatter glass. It's over nothing. He's not upset about anything. He just decides to let it go.
Screech, yeah.
And everybody's like, you know, it shakes everybody to their core, and it's a little bit embarrassing. But then, like, well, everybody had kids at one point, or were kids at one point.
That doesn't seem to concern Heather at all.
No,
like, because when Penelope was a baby, she'd screech like that and stuff too. Which we need to be quiet. There's people eating. She's like, who cares? We got a kid. Everyone else in here's got a kid.
Yep.
I wish I had a little more of that in me. But
yeah, I get a little worked up about it too. I try to keep things to adult roar. You know, it makes me feel bad. People are out there spending their money, trying to relax and have a nice dinner, and they got.
Well, don't go to Denny's then.
That's what, you know. I like the Buffalo Wild Wings. We do go there quite a bit because it's loud. You know,
right?
You don't feel like it's as much of a relaxed atmosphere. And if the kids cut loose a little bit, it doesn't seem to bother people.
We're gonna have to try that. I've never been there.
I love that place. Usually got some game, baseball, football, whatever you want to watch. I mean, there's a million TVs in the place. Yeah. And it seems to work with the kids.
Yeah. We like going to the TGI Fridays up in Watertown because it always looks like it's under construction. Yeah. So nobody ever goes there because they don't think it's open.
Yep.
And it is, but there's like 3 people inside.
Yeah, that's beneficial.
So you get your food quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like to still try to get them out. I hate to.
You have to.
I hate to think you're not going to have. Yeah, you can't keep them in the house forever if you're going to have to deal with a little bit of bad behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you got to do it. And you can't pay for a babysitter all the time just to go to do adult things.
Right.
I know people that pay for or get a sitter or drop the kids off with their parents so they can go to Walmart.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, my mom dragged all 4 of us through Ames.
Yeah.
Screaming and hiding under racks of clothes.
Right.
And, that poor woman.
Oh, yeah. I can remember my brother and myself with Mom and, some of the things we put her through.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. Boy, I miss Ames, though.
I do, too. Yeah.
That place, it just had a feeling to it. It was, it was a 90s store like Montgomery Ward or what was the one in Utica? Bradley's.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom always had to go to Bradley's.
It's funny with Ames. I can remember so many things that we bought there. Like our first Sega Genesis come from Ames, and that was that's a life-changing thing for a kid at that age,
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember buying Nintendo games there for $30 a piece.
Yeah.
And just thinking how expensive that was. And now $30 is nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know what a game looks like. I mean, what are they up to? PlayStation 17 now?
Yeah. We've got one of the retro Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
We play Mario 3. That's all we do.
You can't beat the Mario games.
No. There's 600 games on that thing. We play that one game all the time. But I can't afford to buy a system now, and they upgrade them so much, and the games are so expensive.
That's the thing. I actually, when Aaron and I think we might have still been in Plattsburgh, but we ended up buying a Wii. That was the rage.
Yep.
You could get involved with the game and whatever, and it was a lot of fun. But it was like within a couple of years, it was outdated.
Oh yeah.
And then you go to try to find a game or something, and they're gone.
You can't.
And then they've moved to something.
And you try to
different.
sell it, and it's worth nothing.
Yeah, and they want to give you $8 for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. And now it seems like on your tablets or smartphones, it's just as good.
Yep.
You know, and kids are more geared toward that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like to go out in the garage, and
Yeah.
I have an old Xbox there, the original Xbox,
Yep.
and just play some games
Yep.
like a kid living in my parents' basement.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yep.
I gotta do that once in a while. Maybe we should do that some night instead of
Yeah.
poker. We'll have a
Have an
Mario
old
3
school,
night.
old school game night. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would be.
Excited for hunting season.
Yeah, I am pumped.
It's getting kind of toasty in here though now.
It is getting a little warm.
Yeah. I don't know. The last few podcasts had the air conditioner on, and it didn't seem to make too much of a difference.
No.
Nobody complained, but
Right.
then again, I don't think anyone listens anyway. So
I've been checking them out.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, trying to brush up, get caught up.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was up to me.
A lot of people that are nervous about coming on here, that's what they do. They
Yeah.
listen to old ones. I need to see what I'm getting into. But I think each one is so different too
Right.
that it's hard to.
Well, that's what's cool about it. I mean, it's a cool idea.
Mhm.
Kind of taking in all sorts of different people.
Yeah, I feel like too, it's a service to you to where, you know, 10 years from now you can show your kids, hey,
Right.
check this out. You
Yeah.
know, we were talking about you. You were only 5 years old.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But it'll be there forever. It's on the internet.
That's right.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
This was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I think we gotta get one together. We should do a podcast after we hunt for the day. We'll get the group of guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be colorful.
Successful or not, I don't think it would really matter.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I always look at those days as a success, anyways. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to bring game home, you know, to
Right.
take something from
To
it.
just have had fun in the woods and put a few miles on.
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes
last
it's
year,
nice to do that.
Last year we had a successful hunt, and then I ended up getting some dents in my truck by accident. So,
Wait, Mike? Was it Mike?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He hit both your trucks, right?
He still feels horrible about it. I thought it was hilarious.
He ripped the top out of my cooler a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
And he's destructive.
he's just rough on shit.
Yeah,
But he did, you know, let us cut up meat in the garage.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
you
We
know,
always stored
let
it there
hang
for how many months?
Yeah, all winter long.
Yeah.
I guess that outweighs everything.
It's still, I
else.
like to bring it up because he's still like, oh, I feel horrible, man. I can't believe I did that. I was like, it's an accident. That's what happens.
I got to bring it up at least once a week.
Right, yeah.
Shame you a little bit.
He would do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got a good group of guys
Oh yeah,
up there.
you got to have thick skin to hang out with us.
Yeah. That's why I can't believe Erin's still in the band, because we bust her chops so
You know, I think she likes
bad.
it. I think
Yeah.
she looks at it like the big brother she never had picking on
Yeah.
her type thing, you know?
That, and she feels like one of the guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got me back this past weekend. I forget what she said, but
Yeah,
it was
she
hilarious, and she finally got me back,
Yeah.
because normally she doesn't.
she was busting on Mike pretty good Saturday too.
Yeah.
She'd found something. She thought his new cooler was hilarious. It just didn't fit his style.
Yeah.
She,
That white,
Yeah. yeah.
I don't know if it's a Yeti or not, but yeah, it did look like it. I think we should get some of them sticker glitter
Oh yeah.
things. and
Kind of
maybe
bedazzle it or
something. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. You know that it's sitting up at his house.
Yeah.
And we could probably scarf it one of
It was
these
funny
days.
when she started busting on him. Of course, he was all about the function of it and why he bought it, you know, because it's got the perfect handles to strap it onto the four-wheeler.
Right.
And you can still get the top open without taking the straps off. And that didn't mean anything to Erin, of course.
Right.
She was loving the fact that
Yeah.
she got him thinking about it, you know.
We need to steal it.
Yeah,
Oh, now.
that's a good
Now we've
idea.
got a mission.
We can get it.
And Erin can Pinterest it all up. She's going to hate us for this one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Nope. Nope.
We'll just bust her chops the next gig.
Right.
It's funny because the things that we bust on her for are actually good traits. You
Right.
know what I mean? We always
Yeah.
pick on her for dressing nice at gigs.
Yep. Yep.
God forbid, you know, one of us.
I always bust on her about being an overachiever. Would you just relax a little bit?
Yeah, stop being so good.
Yeah, you're making the rest of us look bad.
You jerk.
Yeah.
I love picking on her too, because you can tell she's trying to come up with something
Yeah.
to come back, and we make fun of ourselves, so
Right.
it's near impossible
Yeah.
to
Yeah. It's
find something.
yep.
Yeah, what are you gonna say? I'm hairy and Mike's bald.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
We obviously don't care.
Right. Yep.
Do you think does she ever go hunting at all with you?
You know, she used to quite a bit before we had kids. I wouldn't say quite a bit, but she had gotten so she was going often. We'd go run some corners together, you know, kind of family thing.
Yep.
And she got so she would sit in the tree stand some. And actually, I had a rifle for her. I have a rifle for her, and she was even thinking about pulling the trigger. She was getting to the point where she thought she might like to shoot a deer. And then the kids came along, you know, and all that. And so we'll get back to it. It's, you know, I'm hoping Jackson's 4 now. This year I'm going to try to get him to walk around a little bit with me in the woods. I don't know if sit and watch is going to be much of a success because he's so excited about everything and wants to talk. And but I'm really looking forward to just getting him out and go for a walk. And, you know, Hendrix is just a couple years behind him, and you know, I think we can make a family event out of it someday.
Even shooting some squirrels. I love to go shoot some squirrels. And
she loves to shoot. We used to shoot all the time. I mean, I'm a huge gun guy, so that's you know, I've always been that way. And you know, fortunately, she comes from a family that's the same way, and her dad is a huge gun guy. So we used to spend a lot of time shooting. Actually, I mean, we might just get the 22 out, and it'd be like 500 rounds just plinking away at steel targets or whatever.
So why I think, you know, all these people that are crazy about the gun laws and all these misconceptions, I think if they just come up here and lived for a year around people like us, they'd realize that, you know, this is it's just a different way of life.
Right.
Sure, you don't want to own a bunch of guns living in the middle of the city, you know, when you never leave the city.
Right.
And you got no place to shoot them. You know, those are the people you got to worry about.
Right.
Not guys up here that, you know, just want to go off their back porch and shoot something.
Right. You know, it's a lot of people, the media doesn't see what we see. You know, I think a lot of it's so skewed nowadays that, and there's so many people that aren't willing to make their own decision. They're just going to take that for fact, you know, and they, like you said, if they were just up here, you know, I use this trap shooting as a way to explain it a lot of times. I mean, I've probably shot 1,200 rounds just shotgun alone this summer. Wow. And then I love my handguns. I do all my own reloading, and you know, I probably shot another 500 to 1,000 rounds through that. And now that, you know, deer season's getting here, I've got some reloads I want to try in my gun, so I'm gonna be doing a bunch of shooting there. And but I mean, you can go to a shooting event anywhere on a weekend where they're shooting trap, and there may have been, you know, 5,000-6,000 rounds shot depending on the amount of people that show up. If it's a 100-bird shoot, or you know, I went on a Roadrunner shoot last year downstate, and we shot 400 rounds in one day, each person. Yeah. And you look at the people, and it's like I said before, it's anybody from 12 years old up to 80, 90 years old, and you're never going to see gun safety any more pronounced than what you do at these events, you know. And it's,
well, I'm sure you were just like me at 12 years old. You got your hunter safety course. Right. That was your, you know, look forward to that. Yeah. But that's what the people that aren't into it don't realize, that we're more about the tradition and the technique, and you know, than to actually, I mean, of course we love to shoot something. Right. You know, it's nice to put some meat in the freezer.
Right. But that's really not what we're. Right. You know, it's a bigger ball of wax than just killing things.
Sure.
And shooting is, you know, it's a cool sport. I see these you know, the high school teams getting into having their trap teams now, or trap clubs, I guess they are. And you know, this county alone has a lot to offer in its youth as far as that sport goes. Right. It's a sport that takes in a lot of kids that aren't going to play anything else. They aren't interested in anything else. It gives them something to do. Lewis County alone sent, I don't remember exact numbers, but a bunch of kids to the Nationals this year. They shot in Michigan, and we had a pile of kids that, I mean, a boy from, I shouldn't say boy, he's a young man from Copenhagen finished 8th in the nation. That's great. We had, like, I think there was probably 8 or 9 kids out of Lewis County alone that finished in the top 200. And we're talking out of, like, what, I don't remember, 1,400, 1,800 kids, something like that, nationwide. I mean, it's one of those sports where how often are you going to get that level of exposure, you know, doing something else? It's pretty cool.
It's a sport like every other sport. It teaches discipline. It teaches teamwork. It teaches focus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It teaches you to focus your mind on one thing.
Right. And that's, you know what, that's one of the things has really impressed me with it. Now that I'm like my third or fourth year into it, it really is, it's a mind game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get, your body will automatically take over and start
Sure.
doing what you want it to do with very little practice. You know, muscle memory comes on pretty quick, but it's all about putting your brain in that right place to,
Yeah.
if you're thinking about something else, what's going on at work, or you might better forget about it, you know.
It's the same with basketball or football or any other sport out there. Music, same thing.
You know, and like I said, it's a cool sport because it takes in the people that there's guys that shoot out of wheelchairs. There's guys that shoot on stools because they can't stand that long. And so, I mean, basically anybody can do it, you know.
Right.
So.
It is weird about muscle memory. I don't know if I told you this the other day, but I got a little BB gun pistol out in the garage, you know, when the mice get running around or squirrels outside. And I shot at a mouse in the garage and nothing come out. So I quick ran outside and pulled the clip out, and a stray BB fell out. So I'm like, oh, okay. And so I put the clip back in, and I just turned to my left. And in our backyard, we have the fire pit, and I have an old broomstick handle that we use for a fire poker. And it's probably 15, 20 yards out to that. And I just turned real quick and shot at it. And that BB came back and almost hit me in the head. And I was amazed at, you know, a 1-inch wide target that I just pulled up on in a half a second just to aim at. To see if I can hit, you know, hear it hit the woods, the BB, you know.
And that's how, you know, all the shooting sports, that's that whole muscle memory. And if you didn't have to think about it, you just did it, you know. That's like shotgun shooting. I had to get myself, I was always a rifle guy where you actually are aiming, you know, and where a shotgun, you're pointing.
Right.
You're just pointing at what you want to shoot at.
You're using your whole body to aim where you're going.
Yeah, it's cool. I love all of it. I hope that all those sports grow around here a little more. I think we live in a tough state where, you know, some regulations.
There's such a stigma with it and anything to do with guns at all. That some people hear guns and they don't want to hear anything positive about it. But
I see a lot of stuff on Facebook and online. I watch a lot of these 3-gun sports, they call them, where you have rifle, shotgun, and handgun, and you compete on a level, each one of them, in each field, and then your scores are all tabulated into one final score. And I think that would be awesome. So many people around here would love to do that, but like in the rifle portion of it, they use a sporting rifle, or as some like to say, the assault rifle.
Yeah.
So it's you've kind of already eliminated that portion of the competition because you're not going to use a 10-shot AR-15 with a fixed magazine, you know, to shoot in a competition. So I could go on about this stuff all day. I'm passionate about it. So hey.
Yeah, I don't get, you know, what everyone considers in this country a hero is a soldier. You know what I mean? Going over there and fighting for our country.
Yep.
And that idea of a hero is a guy with a gun in his hand.
Right.
But if it happens here and you're standing outside your house with a gun to protect your house or to shoot some deer or woodchucks or whatnot, it becomes such a horrible thing. And it's like, wait, but that guy is not much different. I mean, that was stupid. I shouldn't compare. But, you know, the idea of a hero, that's
right.
It's okay for them to go and shoot bad guys,
right?
You know, but for us to go out back and shoot.
Well, I think when it comes down to it,
an animal.
You know, I think most of us would agree it's one of the bases that this country was kind of built on. You know, I think the rest of the world still looks at us and says, "You don't want to go over there and mess with those guys because there's a gun behind every tree."
Yeah,
you know.
But that's one thing that we take pride on is being able to protect ourselves, being able to stand up for ourselves. And when we get to a point in society where we're no longer allowed to do that, that's a big warning sign that maybe we let things go a little too much.
Right.
When you let the government take too much control out of how much you can protect yourself and your family,
right?
You got to look out because that's how communism and dictators
Right. I
get
mean,
into
yeah.
power.
You look back through history. That was one of the first things that was lost. Was,
Right.
Civilians' right to arm themselves or defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You always got to be able to defend yourself, even if you got a slingshot behind the
Right.
door. I just keep a machete and strip down naked.
Well, that's the thing. You could.
Nobody comes.
You
to
wouldn't
my
even need
house.
the machete.
No. What do you want?
Yeah.
Nothing. Never mind.
Right. No, I'm good. Yeah. I mean, it's just a crazy world. I don't know. I hope it'll never get to the point of where, we start to lose all of our rights. But
Mm-hmm.
we could look at it. You could turn anything into a weapon.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just all at what they.
Yeah.
what
They don't
people
have.
see.
They don't have guns in prison, but a
No.
lot of people die in prison.
Right. More
Yeah.
cars kill people every year than anything
Sure.
else. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
you start banning cell phones for people texting and driving.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess it's just we live in such a comfortable time period, where we really don't have to worry about much, especially living where we do.
Right.
I mean, we're really lucky.
We are lucky.
You know, I'm pretty sure that 99.9% of the people that have a gun to protect themselves or their families will never ever use it.
No.
But you have it
Right.
just in case,
Just in case.
and that's comforting.
Right. We were fortunate enough to live in this country where we were given the right to have that. So it'd be unfortunate if.
That's the message, I think, is everyone's got to stand up for themselves. The whole bullying in school, you just need to learn to stand up for
Right.
yourself, because there will always be bullies.
Yep.
There will always be somebody that has a different opinion than
Right.
you. You just need to find out what your morals are, what you're all about, and be proud of that and stand up for it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, this was fun.
It was
We're
fun.
going to try to end it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we're almost at an hour. We can make it an hour.
Yeah.
We made it over an hour.
Good. I'm glad it was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks
it
for
was.
having me.
We'll definitely do this again.
Yeah.
Got to get a group one going. We'll
Yeah.
do hunting camp stories.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
That you're gonna need more than an hour for that.
Well, there's no time limit.
All right.
All right. See you, Frank.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Tony and Other People, a podcast. Questions, comments, concerns for Tony's overall well-being? Want to be part of the show? Find us on Facebook or email us at tonyandotherpeople@gmail.com.